having Seabreeze play both trainee and babysitter. I've been working with Absence of Us on his little side project, and Hildy has joined the crew, and Thamor is now officially an initiate of Ploink. Did I miss anything else of vital import?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Seabreeze is hanging out with the Elvish King.
Yep. Seabreeze, go ahead and roll me a...
Oh, shit. Yes, sir.
Roll me a... either performance or deception in terms of how you want to approach befriending the king. If you are actually making attempts to, like, make yourself...
Dice. Oh, God, get out of here. Okay, I'll roll it, and then, what were my choices?
Performance or, like, deception, I guess. If you're, like, kind of lying to be his friend, like, trying to get close to him, or if you're, like, genuinely trying to, like...
They're both 0, so... Oh, shit, I rolled a 19. Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you, die. Love you.
So, I know you wanted... It has listed as you wanted an RP scene wanted. I feel like it'd be a little rough, since realistically what would probably happen is these interactions would be taking course over the span of your duration at Tales of Mir.
I'm not asking for a role play of an entire 2-month period.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So, like,
What a shame.
in your... Let's just sit here and talk for 2 months straight.
As much as I really like to do that, and I'm not lying. I get it.
But yeah, no, it takes some time, and you slowly start, showing yourself or letting yourself be seen or kind of making your presence known to the king. Once he realizes you're not there to stop his fun, he at one point will just kind of ask if you want to join in.
Oh my
Like,
God.
he'll turn and actually just know that you're following, kind of lead you down an alley kind of thing, and just be waiting for you. But instead of, like, accosting you, trying to be, like, hostile or anything, he just kind of gives you a very wily grin, knowing that, his basically, what he considers his babysitters sent you to watch over him, that you're, like, just the newest one, if instead you'd be curious in joining him.
Mm-hmm.
And so over that time, I mean, he'll put on disguises. He'll probably be very impressed with any of the disguises or attempts if you actually do any of your real disguises, or if you just put on mock disguises, like disguise your current self.
Or if I see something askew, here, let me help you with that. That doesn't look right.
Yeah.
We got to fix that.
But you learn that he is, in fact, he's just a very curious individual. And with the role you got, you learn a bit more about him in that, yeah, as we kind of, surmised earlier as well, he sees himself more as a figurehead than anything else. Like, he doesn't feel, like, his actions don't carry a lot. Anything he would want to make law or do anything, he really can't. The governing body really falls to the houses. He just kind of sits there as a figurehead to unify the people behind. Any power that he really has, if he were to try to publicly go out with it and, like, create decrees and laws, would, well, likely not end well for him. It wouldn't be the first time a Elvish king has been removed from power by the houses on some other charges. So, however, they can't take direct action against him because he hasn't really done anything wrong, so he fights back in his own way by just doing this.
Well, I would try to help if I could after the turning point where he realizes, or at least gets up the courage to confront me. I probably after a while tried to understand whether he was whether he wanted to exercise more power and just didn't think he could, or whether he had just given up. Because if he didn't give up, then I would try to help, right? So it's either spying for him or...
Yeah. He hasn't given up, but there hasn't been anything... Like, he's kind of biding his time for something pivotal. Like, he doesn't want to exert authority in a time where it's not
Okay.
needed just for the sake of doing so. That he gives off the impression that he is a bit wiser. I mean, he's young by Elvish standards, but he's not young.
Right. He's been around.
He's been around. He knows the ins and outs, and he kind of knows what responsibility he carries. This is why he chooses to respond in this nature, because he knows he can get away with it.
Okay. Well,
so yeah,
then I would just try and find out as much as I could about the court and everything. And if I learned anything, I would try and give it to him, just to keep him as informed as I could.
I mean, he has good intel on the courts to an extent.
Oh, not as good as mine, though.
Probably not, but like he does. I mean, he does have trouble in his employ as well as any other, his own members of the court.
So many windows in this.
So many windows
in this city.
But he is actually very curious, as much as you will tell him, of like other cities and places beyond Tales of Mir, because that's one thing he's not really allowed to do is leave. So.
Well, if I ever come across any teleport magic or fun doors or anything, adventures.
But like, again, kind of with that role and the time you spend with him, he'll start seeing you as a bit of a kind of like a trusted advisor to an extent. Like, he can get a good outside opinion of things that he wouldn't normally try to get from someone within Tales of Mir. But yeah, you also notice that he is also, he's a bit of a troublemaker in a sense, but he just loves to just watch the people move out, and every so often he does get caught. Like, people do catch him, or Terse will catch him, and he'll reveal himself. Kind of greeting the people before he's whisked away by the security that happens to be around. Not forcefully, not aggressively, but more of a eye roll of, okay, yeah, time to go back. Glad you met the people. And this seems to be a pretty common occurrence.
Does he ever get into any actual fights?
Any actual fights?
Mm-hmm.
He himself does not, but between you and Trouble, you probably do oust a few, or not oust, but like prevent a few what might turn into fights or what might turn into altercations when he goes into certain areas. Yeah, nothing. Like I said, there's no, at least from what you can tell in your information gathering as well, there's no big plot to like assassinate the king. There's no real talk of discontent. The people don't hate him. Because, again, they realize that he really is... I mean, it seems that even the people of Tales of Mir really know that he is just a figurehead. And they respect him, and they know that he does have power and he can lead. But power ultimately falls to the houses, and displeasing the king ultimately will just bring disfavor to the houses as well. So, at least internally, you can't really find any hint of discontent. But...
how goes my training?
Painfully, but it does go over the months. As you are initially beaten pretty soundly by Treble and his protege, but you slowly start picking up the art of blade singing as is Elvish custom. So you will have that path access to you by the end of your training session, like arc.
Cool.
Thamor.
Oh my, it's going over to me?
Yeah, we're going over to you, Thamor, because I'm trying to get everything done before we jump into the talk. But, so I believe you ended on getting the message from the smith about wanting to reforge your halberd, right? Or reforge the axe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, try to get that axe reforged.
Yeah. He will basically take your current halberd and merge the two items.
Ooh.
So the returning aspect of the halberd merge with that stone cutting effect of his axe. He will give you a very, head-cocked, questioning, look when you give him the axe. He doesn't recognize it as Morden's axe, because he was not there during that whole fall. He's kind of part of that separate group. But he does recognize the dwarven make and just the age of this thing. But being a smith, he respects the work and wants to one-up it. So. But as far as finding... Yeah, so that... And like I said, we kind of talked about some of the ruins. There's not a ton of ruins as you run, walk around with Redrick, even though he's not particularly happy to have you there. You'll find there's scattered houses kind of in that, like, almost branching, almost a surface level to the Underdark zone. Houses that you recognize. They fly the banner of the town you once remembered. But there's only a couple, and most of them are pretty in ruined state, but there's no real indications to how or why they ended up where they are. And according to Redrick, they've always been there. That's why he moved down there, but he never really found any residence. These look like human dwellings. Why they're here, he has no idea. So.
Okay.
But is there anything else you wanted to do with the ruins, or?
No, I think that would be everything.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking in that pool again.
When you look in the pool, you see Andros's face.
Okay.
And Andros, you, in almost cliche anime fashion, sneeze.
Okay.
And you just feel something watching you.
Oh, good.
Okay. That'll be it.
And Redrick just kind of, like, when he sees you looking over, like, will grab you by the back and, like, try and drag you away. It's not what it looks like, I swear.
Looks like to me, like you're watching the Blue Man.
I'm watching
No,
him,
you were
Lord.
that way.
He's the host of my lord, not him. I don't care if he dies. Well, I care, but... yeah. He just kind of, like, storms off in a huff, just kind of kicking at the stones.
I'm so good to a Blue Man about this.
Anything else in Dunmoric that you would like to do before we kind of quickly... I'll hop to other people and then we'll have you travel to...
Nah, I think anything else could probably be tech stuff, just something small, but otherwise, no.
Okay. So yeah, but he does craft your axe. Again, we'll kind of just forego costs as far as payment for that would be payment that you receive for duties performed. While acting as guard in Galaran and such. Though you did find a couple of extra gold pieces you weren't expecting.
Oh, nice. They suddenly appeared in my pocket.
Yeah, like something suddenly appeared in your pocket from a somehow magical effect.
I mean, of course, I'm gonna go fishing here too, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, that's a given.
That's its own session.
That's a given. I figured no matter where you were, you'd probably end up fishing in the downtime. Guess we don't have to worry about that. So Absinthos, I've already kind of talked with you via text about your project. Both projects, as it were. And so far, like I said, everything's kind of gone as we talked about as far as establishment. It's new, but it's working, and you probably, work with your sister in getting that set up, as well as starting to get those pieces ferried. But yeah, there's all of that. As far as the werewolf curse, it's for now. I know it's going to be kind of something that comes up probably later, because it's something as you maybe experiment with it or you kind of realize it's happening. It seems to respond more to whenever you get injured or angry, like angry enough at something. But more so at the moment seems to respond to injury. So as long as you don't get woefully injured in this downtime, you may get pangs of kind of like a blind, like just a flash of blind anger for no real reason. You'll kind of feel hair bristling. that you didn't really feel before, and you kind of go on edge. But no, I wouldn't say any full transformations. Even come the bearing of the full moon. As long as you don't, again, sustain any real damage or a big fight that I don't know about. To give you a little bit of out of character knowledge.
Oh, this will be good when it blows up my face.
Yeah. Unless you do, and in which case, then we'll have to figure out how and when and why you turn into a werewolf in the middle of somewhere.
Well, I don't foresee any injury here. I'm sure it'll be one of those things of, Andros will slap Asanthoth so hard that we'll put him
Well, I
right
figured
over
more
the
of like during your projects and stuff like that, you might like nick yourself or like, drop something on your foot kind of mentality, and like you'll get these blind anger that you're just not used to, and you'll feel something primal kind of welling up. You'll maybe feel like your pointer teeth kind of grow into a longer bit of fangs, or feel your fingers kind of like some of your fingernails grow into claws and then kind of recede shortly thereafter. And I would hope you can put 2 and 2 together and start realizing that connection.
Yes, and he'll start blaming trees.
You'll start what?
He'll start blaming being stupid with the tree.
I thought he was going to say he's going to start sucking more trees. I'm like, oh, I guess he wants to accelerate. Okay.
No, the exact opposite of that.
Okay, good. Wait, blowing trees?
Uh,
All right. I had my fun.
Anyway.
Suck the blow.
I had my fun. Morani and Andros. So Andros, I know you've got
Morani
the big
came
one
back?
coming up. What?
Morani came back?
Oh, no, sorry, Hildy. It's gonna be
I
a
know,
bit
I
rough.
know.
My brain's gonna go to
Yeah, I
Morani
know,
for a
it's a
bit.
transition.
Same.
So yeah, so I guess before we do that, other thing
Short
I did owe you.
stack.
For Morani, like I said, you ended up in Telmavir for a short while, kind of trying to investigate the cults. But in even asking around about it, immediately draws the attention, or is immediately referred to Pele, because he's in charge of trying to basically eradicate and keep Telmavir clean of that. As he brought back, like you learned from him that he came back bearing the news about what happened to Arestamor, about this plot that was happening, about what he tried to do, and kind of goes working with the king to oust any trace of that from the houses. Like it was a big thing in Telmavir for them to go through and start ousting this, like going through almost reformation and removing several members of the houses and forcing them into exile, which for them was pretty big. So currently, as you kind of ask about it, he says that as far as he is aware, unless they're just really quiet or they're not showing themselves, it's hard to find anything in Telmavir. But he does give you a list of names of people that they did find associated with it that they kicked out, and kind of where they were last heading. And it seems like for the most part, they were all heading like southeastbound towards the coast.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
So, and I'm guessing that would be your probably driving point to just leave. But if you did want to stick around, Pele's happy to just show you what he can of the city. And you might also get a glance of the gallivanting king.
I mean, that's great, but I feel like she would probably get that information and then immediately leave.
Okay, fair enough, but I
take
figured
off
I'd give you those options then.
Yeah, that's fair.
After considering how that would play out. Because, yeah, Pele has been very instrumental on fixing things after his run-in with Arestamor, being saved by you guys, seeing the world, basically, and deciding to finally act on it.
Right.
Who knew? The one guy that failed miserably in his fights would somehow fix Telmavir to an extent. For Andros and Hildy, you guys are, lack of a better word, shacked up currently still in the Order of the White Leaf. Andros is going around doing his talks with people. We'll get to that here in a second. Hildy, is there anything you're doing particularly? Because I know you have not investigating at least, like seeking other guild members and helping Andros. There's not really going to be any guild members in the White Leaf.
I didn't figure there would be.
They kind of steer clear of a place that, literally tells them that they shouldn't be inventing.
Right.
Unless it's for the glory of Palor, they shouldn't. Yeah, you're not going to find many guild members. You may find, like, ex-guild members if you look hard enough, but you're not going to find any, like, active guildmates there. Or those that are they're researching, I suppose, like the
she probably wouldn't be trying to look too deep either, just so that she didn't draw too much attention to herself, you know?
Okay. Uh, and I imagine, I mean, Andros would probably, lead you to areas that are a little less, I won't say conspicuous, but a little less tight, I guess. What's the word?
Yeah, he very much notify her of, all right, here are the districts you'll likely want to stay in. These are the districts you want to avoid.
Yeah.
This particularly, these offices are, these checkpoints. So basically, just
Yeah.
give her the rundown of what he remembers. Obviously, things may have changed since then, but at least
Yeah.
what
I
he
mean,
remembers.
it's not such a totalitarian city that like every corner is monitored kind of mentality, or at least to your knowledge it isn't. There are several areas where it feels more loose, I guess, like fewer guards, fewer real, like unless you're speaking something directly heretical to Palor, they kind of just there's just people like it's just a common, like almost like you're in Galaran all over again. Especially like near the docks, near some of the more like I guess like common places like the trade districts and stuff like that. Um, but anywhere outside that, you go in the noble, like the higher end quarters, the Order of the not Templars, the Order of the Inquisitors and stuff like that. You'll definitely see a lot more security process, and likely won't even be able to get into most of them. So, as far as anything else you want to do there, let me know, because
Nah, Hildy is pretty much just keeping a low profile until they leave, you know?
Okay.
Because, even though they're in a different city right now, she's still, she will not be comfortable until she is out of Sormir, so... So wherever Andros puts her, that's where she's hanging out.
Yeah, he'll have make sure she knows where the safe places, or at least the less patrolled places of the city are.
Okay. And then Andrews. Okay, so you had best for last, right? Of this
Deep breaths.
deep breaths. Possibly go
It'll all
wrong.
be okay.
Possibly go wrong. So after you had your talk with your mother, maybe I don't know if you immediately go to Lucette or if it's kind of a few days of just trying to perk up the courage, or maybe you go and I feel like almost like you got that the one thing that really scares you kind of mentality. If you go and then you just talk yourself out of it, or you go and you see her and then you immediately chicken out and leave. Like the one thing that's Endros seems to actually be scared. Maybe.
Yeah, I would.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I
on
would
that.
say the day specifically following his discussion with his mother, he would likely, again, he'd probably be helping Hildy a little bit more. He'd be hood up, very much staying in shadows, out of the way, making sure he's not seen by, people of, whether it's guards or that kind of stuff. He's making sure he's out of the way. He probably would start making his way toward the address, and then he'd probably back out the first day. It'd probably take him to probably maybe the second or third day when he'd kind of go and see the residents, watch it from some sort of distance or nook. Is it just a normal like city apartment townhome? Is it like a house somewhat more on the outskirts of the city?
It's on the outskirts of what would be like it's still central, so kind of your equivalent of like blue collar housing kind of mentality of
Okay.
not top of the totem pole like nobles, aka they like the inquisitors, the councilmen and stuff like that. but nor is it low enough where it would be like common or merchants or even like the standard residents. Still oddly kind of like a, perhaps part of like the lower part of the council or some important, like definitely like a wealthier district, I guess, in that sense.
So yeah, the city townhomes. These aren't the tenements. These are they seem like they have like maybe fenced in yards or something of that sort.
Yeah, they have their own land. They've got,
Okay.
kind of the equivalent of like of a mansion-esque. Like, again, very similar to what the nobles' quarter design would be in Galaran. Kind of like,
Yeah, he would probably find a position, maybe a good ways away. He might misty step or something up on top of a building where he's got a little bit more of a vantage point, and also maybe harder to notice him snooping. And he would spy on the house using his spyglass, getting an idea of what he's in for. He's trying to, get a glimpse of her, get a glimpse of her husband. Are there kids here? Like, what is he walking into?
are you? How stealthily are you going about this?
Let's find out.
Okay, because you are in a town that is, as you know, teleporting to the top of roofs and pulling out a spyglass and starting to search around will get very many. We'll get a lot of very curious reactions from the guards.
13. So not super. Again, he's got subtle casting, so he's able to kind of keep things a little bit more. He's not shouting out that he's teleporting places. He's trying to stay to shadows. I don't know how open the tops of these houses are. I mean, I know that he used to sit on top of buildings with Lucette years ago, but
No, I know. It was more of just kind of the subtling of more so less like than sitting on the roof so much as pulling out a spyglass and like being very conspicuous as to
sure.
spying on someone, especially since you're not like in one of the more lightly controlled areas. You're in one that would garner attention if they notice you spying on someone.
Sure.
So, but we'll say, I mean, if you want to give me one more roll, I'll say you can do it with advantage just because you know the city.
Okay.
So,
let's see. Let's go with this dice. Yeah, it's worse. It's a 2.
Okay.
So
you don't get a lot of time up there before you hear, kind of a commotion as an Inquisitor kind of like beckons you to come down and explain what you're doing. But you hide your actions well enough that they don't immediately just know. They just are like, okay, what are you doing? But in that time of kind of peering through and watching, you don't see any kids. And it seems like the person that she's currently with, betrothed to, or married to, is seems to be wearing kind of robes of the council, but not any of the high-ranking ones.
okay.
So,
Yep. When an Inquisitor calls him down, he is going to dimension door and vanish. He's he's making sure he's not talking to Inquisitors or anything. He's gone.
okay, that'll raise some alarm for a bit. So you may have to lay low for at least a little bit as you just kind of rouse a bit of. Okay, hold on. What the fuck?
Yeah. So he would.
Executor, sorry, not council. Executor. The robes I meant executor. That's
Gotcha.
what I want to say.
But yeah, he would definitely be wary. He would keep an eye on the security level around the area, not like around the house, but just keeping an eye on things. And I would say probably a week later, he would stop by the bar in the morning at the Minstrel's Chalice and purchase a bottle of of chilled snowberry iced mead. The bottle wouldn't be chilled yet, but it's snowberry iced mead. He would purchase a bottle of that and request to borrow 2 not tankards, but whatever they have that's a slightly nicer thing than a tankard.
A goblet, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, you'd buy that from them and, give them a tip for helping out.
Okay.
And then from there, he would, again, make his way. He'd put that in his satchel and start making his way across the city. He would have used probably his last disguised self scroll that he had, and would head over to that area of the city. He would.
Are you disguised as Barnacle still, or what are you disguising as for that last?
We'll say he is a pretty. Maybe in his time in the city, he saw somebody who was a clergy of the church, not necessarily an executor or any of a high ranking, somebody in, general clergy robes, maybe somebody who.
Okay, like a general cleric, or just a general
Yeah.
follower of Paylor.
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, he would disguise into that fairly simple human blonde hair, nothing fancy looking.
Okay.
But he would definitely keep the bright blue eyes that he has.
Okay.
And he would approach the house and knock on the door. After standing around shiftily, possibly trying to walk away, doing the whole thing where he goes up and puts his hand and knock and steps back a couple times and eventually knocks on the door.
You hear a bit of a clamor inside. 1 minute. You hear a latch open and door swings open, and you see Lucette. Oh,
Greetings, your ladyship. There's a message from the church. They were just curious about your last visit to the sanctuary, and they told me that you were in need of wanting someone to talk to.
Last visit to this. She kind of furrows her brow a little bit. I don't recall. Well, if the church sent you, I can hear you out. Maybe you have the wrong. You sure I'm the one you're looking for?
Oh, quite certain. Yes, this is the address,
And he, picks up the address that he had written down and shows it to her.
Well, maybe Deshrick had something to do with it. Well, my husband's not home, so if you're looking for him, he'll be back after the council's convened. But if you'd like, you can come in, and I can get you have a drink, and you can explain to me what you're here for.
Oh, certainly. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
She opens the door to let you in. It's a finely, finely kept house. It's a small little mansion of sorts, and you can see that it's well cared for. There seem to be some servants scurrying about, keeping things clean. And you're walking in, you see some scuttle off to the kitchen to start prepping what you assume to be some form of drink. And she beckons you over to a foyer to sit down. I'm sorry. What was your name, Father?
Oh, it's not father yet. Brother Derek.
Oh, well, so close. Well, Brother Derek, to what then do I owe the pleasure of your company and talk then? Did my husband put you up to this, or?
Oh, certainly not. Well, maybe your husband hasn't mentioned it at the time, but I believe at the church we're working on starting maybe more programs, visiting households and members of the council, members of the clergy, just to check up on the well-being, see how people are doing. We wouldn't want anyone to feel like they're left out when it comes to the busyness of the council. Obviously, things have been a little strange in the last year or so. So, may I sit?
She nods, and for a brief second, mostly again because this is someone you know, and this is someone you know how to the whole world for at one point. At the moment, a mention of the church expanding its activities to check on everything, you just notice a sincere, just look of annoyance for the briefest of seconds passing her face before she kind of covers it up. Right, yes. Go ahead. And she points to the seat. Go ahead and take a seat. The servants will be out. Do you prefer tea or something stronger?
Oh, whatever you'll be having, of course. I would not want to sully your hospitality, of course.
Right. And she kind of waves her hand, and you see a servant kind of again scuttle off into what you assume to be the kitchens and start assembling some drinks. Well, what is this new program supposed to check in on? Or what are we supposed to talk about? I'm afraid he did not tell me what to expect.
That's perfectly all right. Sometimes, you know how they are. They're just so caught up in the will of Paylor. But never mind that. Firstly, may I have your name?
She gives you kind of a furrowed brow. You said you knew I was here, wouldn't?
Oh, it's a protocol, my lady.
Right.
Yeah.
Lucette Akash.
Lucette Akash. Yes, that's right. And Miss Akash, how are you today? Are you feeling well? Are you feeling?
Just call me Lucette. I prefer not to go by the acquired name, but it's the same as always. I do my duties and tidy up the house and wait for my husband's return, and it's
Yes. Oh, and what would you say your duties are here as the wife of a councilman?
pretty face. I maintain the household in his stead while he is off at his meetings and bringing up matters of great importance to Paylor and the other members, and am acting on his behalf in terms of social events and parties and such, and other matters of home and affairs.
Yes, of course. May I ask, how long have you and Councilman Akash been together?
Oh, it's been about 4 months now since the wedding. Still getting used to that, I guess. I guess any, new couple would.
Of course, yes. Well, belated congratulations, I suppose. Has he been a suitable husband for you in that time?
Again, she kind of brow furrows and kind of gives you kind of a stern look. Yes, of course. He is a most upstanding member of the council and their group. So yes, he has been a very fine gentleman.
Right. And of course, Lady Lucette, if you wouldn't mind so much, what do you do when you are maybe out of the house? Do you have any particular hobbies or perhaps projects of devotion to of the Lord?
She kind of looks down a little bit, starts kind of twiddling her thumbs. I used to sing a bit. Though lately that is a bit behind me in my new station. Though I have been invited to sing at the church a few times, but it's just perhaps I'm not ready for that kind of stage or that kind of honor.
Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure. Do you happen to know Lady Casdia? She, I believe, helps with some of the singing and choirs within the great chapels. I'm sure she would be more than happy to welcome you.
At that, you see her kind of face go crestfallen a little bit before she again regains composure. Yes, I have worked with her in the past, but I haven't spoken to her in a while. Um, how perchance do you know of her? Is she still frequenting the temples?
Well, I, I, of course, I believe she's busy and gracing us with her magnificent voice. Yes, I've always been an admirer of hers, of course. Uh, um, right. What were the other questions? Um. Oh. Uh. Right. Do you and the councilman have any plans for? Well, it's made to seem rude, but an heir of any sort?
She blushes at that initially, and well, it's certainly been talked about, but it's still a little early, and we've been talking about it, and maybe eventually, uh, we will be sure to do it at Baylor's grace, of course. Yeah.
Of course. Yes, that makes total sense. Um. Oh, I'm afraid. Do you happen to have a washroom? I'm feeling a little. Well, I feel wrong for having asked such a pressing question, but do you have a washroom or something?
Yes. Right down the hall. Gibald will assist you. Gibald, over here and assist the good brother over. A young servant rushes over to guide you to a washroom that is down the hall, and does not obviously follow you in, but stands outside the door should you need any assistance.
Andros stands there over the basin, and just again wringing his hands, wipes them over his face. There is definitely perspiration on his forehead. He is there. He's breathing difficultly. It's like heavy, like short kind of breaths. He is trying to find that composure again. And then, does what he can to make it sound like he's washing up. And then heads back out and sits down and looks at Lucette.
Right. Would you happen to have that drink? I think I'm ready for that.
Yes, and you see that there's a servant kind of already standing by with a tray of what seem to be some hot tea. And he leans over, hands you a cup as she takes one as well.
Takes a sip and kind of sniffs back.
Oh, it's hot. Right.
And non-subtle spell, he will use prestidigitation to cool the cup.
Oh, that's better.
And
Oh,
you see just a little bit of frost coming from it now.
I was not aware that the good brother was a practitioner of magics. Was that didn't look like a clerical spell though?
Lady Lucette, this may be presumptuous, but would you mind if we speak privately?
Regarding
I have I have a message for you and you alone. I'd rather, following orders of course, that it only fall for your ears.
she raised her hand and you see the servants all kind of disperse and you hear kind of doors closing around as they make themselves scarce. All right, that is about as best as I can do. Speak. What message do you bring?
At this, he stands up and turns, kind of walks toward maybe one of the windows that's there. And he'll reach into the satchel that's on his hip, pull out the bottle. When he turns back around, he lets the illusion fall.
She gasps loudly. Despite never seeing you blue before, she can't forget a face. And you see her, like, hands at mouth, like, hands trembling, her eyes just begin to water. She's just stammering out. Penderos.
Hey there, Moonlock.
And despite everything, she just immediately just is jumping up and just throwing her arms around you and sobbing.
He cannot do anything but hold her.
I thought you were gone.
I was. For too long. I searched. I left and I searched everywhere I came. No one had heard anything of you. I had no idea where to even look. I couldn't come back here. Ah.
Just kind of feel her, like, hands curl up against you and, like ball up, and she just has her head down. Sorry, I didn't have a choice. They told me that you had died out at sea. You were cast out. And your father... I suspect it was him, but once they knew your involvement with me, I was given either an option to leave, or I'll take him as my husband to stay. I couldn't leave. I had nowhere else to go, and my mind at that time was a mess. I thought it was all over.
Moonlock, why? Why didn't you leave? I thought that was our goal. We were gonna get out of here.
Because I couldn't see myself leaving without you. And I couldn't. It was our dream, not and face it alone.
There are tears streaming down his face right now.
never meant any of this. You know that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I am too. I am too, Andros. Hate is cruel. But what now? What could we ever do now?
Oh. Kind of, there's a choke in his voice. Are you happy here?
Gods, no. I'm comfortable, as it would be said. Deshrick does not do wrong by me, and by no means is he mean or a harsh man, but this is not the life I dreamed of with you. This is... This is not what I wanted. I didn't have a choice. I didn't think I had a choice.
What? Andrews he's got no words in this moment. He's both holding her and unsure how to let go. He blinks. There's, his eyes are blurry at this point from all the tears. Leans back, looks her in the eye. If this is not what you want, I can get you out.
How? How wouldn't your father just find us? Dashrick's not gonna just... He's not just gonna let me go like that.
Why not? We were going to do it a decade ago. Kingdom's large. Could find a place you could set up. Start a tavern again.
What? You saying you wouldn't join me?
Bites down on his lip.
Moonlark, I'm caught up in something I could not. There's too much. The world. The gods. Fuck. What?
Tightens up and wipes his tear on his sleeve.
I thought I was ready for this shit. Listen, I don't know if you heard, but there was a battle of some sort last year across the seas.
Yes, that's all they ever talk about. Dashrick mentions how we were elevating this and that Halo, but I heard about it and I often fantasized that one of the adventurers was you. Was it?
The council's a load of fucking crock shit. But we battled a beast of name Faust, a giant dragon. This. What I'm caught up in, it wouldn't be fair. For you. For me.
It's fair to leave me again. After I thought you'd gone.
I can get you out. I can get you somewhere where you can start again. Out from the thumb of fucking Paylor. Damnable city.
It's not Baylor. It's not anything. I wanted out so I could start with you. Can't you just take me with you? I'll learn to. I can learn to fight with you. I can.
Moonlark. You've always been a lover, not a fighter. You know that. That's not a life for you.
Nor is this, and nor is running away again to start another life that I don't want.
I've... kind of bites down on his lip again. I've thought about that day, that night, for years. Ever since it happened. It's... Moonlark, I loved you. I love you. No questions. But... that dream... I don't know if that's a life that exists right now. I can't give up what I have to do. And
Can't give it up. Why can't you just take me with you? I'll take any of the risks. I'd rather die beside you trying than basically be dead here or elsewhere alone.
you haven't even a clue what's going on.
I don't
The
have
gods
to.
gods are vying for this world. Hell, I've got 2 of them fucking living in my head. Can't you see this is not... the dream we had is gone. I hate it that I have to say that. It's taken me this long to realize that. I will do anything to get you out if you are not happy. Fuck this man, fuck this house. But
It'll always be the same if it's not with you. How am I supposed to go on knowing that you're alive now and I've always dreamed of
you
could be right within reach again?
said you've got to move on. We both have to.
This is when I thought you were dead. I didn't have a choice. And you can see that I don't want that. Why is it so hard to believe that I just would want to come with you? Let me... Are you saying that you don't... that I couldn't shoulder your burden with you, or that I would just be in the way?
Lucette, I can't have you with me because I won't let them take you away again. I can't let that happen. Being with me, being around me, it's a fucking curse. It's not a burden you deserve. It's a burden anyone
But it's the
deserves.
choice I want to make. Are you gonna tell me now how I have to live as well?
Fuck no, this...
Kind of breaks the embrace and steps back. His hands, the bottle kind of tumbles to the ground with a clink. Doesn't break, but his hands comb through his hair and
Why, Lucette? Why can't you see what I... what... Shit.
Show me. Take me away. Let me see for myself. And let me make my own decision. And at least give me that chance again. I don't want to lose you again. Not again. Please let me make it of my own choosing.
If you die, what if these gods take you like they took you before? I can't bear to lose you again. I can't bear to be the one, the reason I lose you again.
Because I know you'd fight tooth and nail through the 9 hells to bring me back if some god decided that. It's just the kind of man you are.
Where would you go? Where would we go?
Anywhere you set the course, do you have a party, a ship, something?
Got me. In a world trying its damnedest to make me miserable. I can't just have the things that I want.
She steps kind of gingerly towards you. I'll make it my damnedest try to help you as best as I can. I've still got a little of my adventuring spirit, you know. Not fully reformed into a proper, noble lady.
Staring at the ground, he's not meeting her gaze. You know, I met someone. Could have been your sister, your twin. Can you believe that?
Just kind of gives you a quizzical look.
Was one of the heroes that we fought alongside. Defeated the dragon together. She's the only one I've ever told about you.
I would much like to perhaps meet her then, or meet this crew that you fought alongside that protected you and you protected them for so long. I'm sure I can lend some good stories of my own. I know I still have a knack for being a bit of a storyteller myself. Would you just trust me like you used to?
I want I want to. But my life isn't fair for you, Lucette. There ain't roads. There ain't comfort. There ain't adoring patrons or friends or family. It's just one weary road after another, wave after wave of endless.
It's a road I would take with you. Meeting our patrons and comfort in any of this. If I am to suffer miserably for it. Miss the time sleeping under the stars on a rough roof or in a rough bed, singing for my next meal. Enjoying the life I had alive with you. This... She kind of just points the house around. This isn't living anymore. This is... late stagnation.
came here today because I saw you as an anchor that I needed to cut. Not because I don't care, but because I do. Too much. Lucette, I know you say you want to come. I know you say you think you can do all these things and be by my side. Do you trust me to tell you that I wouldn't want that for you?
I trust that, but why am I being left out of this equation? Does it not matter what I want as well? You finally show up after so many years just to tell me that you don't, that you still love me, but no longer want me to follow you? That I'm some anchor that you just now... Does it not even concern that you've just become an anchor to me now?
That's the
Knowing
point.
that you're alive, knowing that you're out there, and you're telling me that I'm good enough anymore to follow you.
It's not that you're not good enough. You're too good.
And
The life,
why are
the
you
life
telling
I
me?
have, the life I have to lead isn't one you deserve.
What are you to tell me what I deserve? That is what anyone has ever only told me after you left, what I deserve or what I should do. And I say, fuck it all. My choice is still, and has it always been, to be with you. And you're turning that choice down. I'm not gonna promise that I'm going to stay here. And damned whatever Palor's followers do when I leave to me. Guess that won't be any of your concern anymore.
I just want the best for you, and I can't provide that. Not anymore.
It's only what you think. Think me so trite as to need everything when the only thing I desire from you is you. Everything else, I'll find a way.
I'm sure you would try. I'm sure you would. Ellen, fucking got my stubbornness from you. At least in part. But I've got a road to travel. And I don't. Bites down his jaw. I have to do it on my terms.
Did you even come here today? Just to torment me?
It was pretty fucking selfish, wasn't it?
You know damn well I'm gonna follow.
Please don't. I can take you anywhere. I can get you out. But forget about me. Please.
I tried. You showed up at my doorstep again. You really are clueless as you were then. As long as you live and breathe and still share the dream we had. Gonna chase you. You damned blue devil.
It's not my dream anymore. I'm sorry. I wish it was. Think me cruel, hate me, do what you must, but if I'm going to lose you, I'll do it because I chose it.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Dare.
Look, I must. Please. I will never stop loving you. But I cannot be that dream anymore.
I have no reason. That's how it is. Tears just kind of well up in her eyes. Have no fear then. Walk out that door. Be the last you ever see of me.
Don't stay here. Find something else, please. Don't let a fucking blue devil like me be the reason you let your life stagnate. Find your wings, take them.
I
Find your
don't
voice.
want any more advice from someone who is going to break the dream we had. You're as good as your father. Unless you want to take everything back and come to terms with what you know is still true, and just leave. I promise I won't be an anchor to you anymore.
Shit. I really am an asshole, aren't I? Walks over and picks the bottle off the floor. Sets it on the table. Reaches out a hand and chills it with prestidigitation. I'd say I'm sorry, but you wouldn't accept it. Can I take you anywhere? Can I give you one last parting gift?
There's nothing else you can give me. What you have already decided to take away. So I suggest, Mr. Andros, that you leave. May you realize that find the courage to face the truth that you so desperately bury.
There's one thing I've ever been good at, it's running. Eventually looks up at her, meets her gaze.
She has a very almost like the tears, that sad like expression has kind of stopped, and you see her almost have a stone-faced, almost distant, far-seeing expression at this point.
Andros's isn't much different.
Said, I love you. I always will. You don't have to listen to my advice anymore. You don't have to cling to me anymore. Let me die, like I did 11 years ago. Move on. Get out of this fucking city.
I will take your advice into consideration. I loved you too. The man you once were.
Certainly something. Hopefully someday I can live up to him. With that, he runs his hand through his hair and glances around. I suppose I let myself out.
It would be best. Goodbye, Andros.
No luck of sunbreak.
Don't call me that.
You're right. And that he sets the two goblets down out of his pack. Sets them next to the chilled bottle. Heads for the front door. Gives a short glance back. And leaves. Pulls the cloak up. And departs. His way back to the minstrel's chalice and order a bottle of the foulest and heaviest ale they have. Take it to his room. And drink till he passes out.
Remind me again how much I need to charge for therapy here.
We love you, Salty.
Thank you. That was hard, but thank you.
Yeah. Anyone know any good jokes?
Let's go
Asbestos,
and
asbestos, asbestos.
Bark, bark. Oh man.
Oh god.
Yeesh. I haven't done stuff like this since, like this, like told you, since my college days of theater.
I've
Yeesh.
never done
Not
this.
a bad thing, but
Oh god.
How's Seabreeze doing with Thailandary?
I'm very mad at
frolicking
you.
through fields of flowers compared to this.
No, I don't like that scene at all. I hate you. That's I hate you. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Which is to say, right? Well done.
Oh man.
But if Seabreeze ever hears about that conversation, you're fucking dead. He's gonna stab the crap out of you.
He deserves it.
I feel the sudden urge to find the nearest illegal narcotic.
Group and like disappointing female NPCs in this campaign.
Yeah. Ay, ay, ay.
Man.
It's an interesting outcome. I had no idea which way it was gonna swing because I was fully prepared to have her become an NPC of some sort. But
I know. And I was
Now I hate you
I-
even more.
I was
more.
waffling in the middle of the conversation. I had no idea what to do.
I could tell how hard you were teetering. It was
Bad
stressful as
choice.
hell.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
sorry, but yeah, just putting myself into the mindset. This is how I think it plays out for a character
No.
that's been living on a like single thread of hope at this point.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I was in my mind. I was hoping she had something. You know, there was the. Anyway, we can talk about it later. But not to derail the session any more than I already just have.
I mean, I'm sufficiently drained as well, so let's try and figure out something a little more lighthearted.
Am I way off though? Did that feel like Emily Bronte to anybody else? Like that was
I could see it.
super high levels of like I can't I have to leave, and it's like the whole premise of the scene was you think I'm dead and I just came out of the fucking closet. I'm like, hi, I'm alive. I can't talk to you anymore though.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And it was a full hour of no, we can't go, we can't talk. I'm like, god damn it.
Like, why the fuck did you show up if only to tell me you can't be together? You should have let me live
That-
my dream.
That was Wuthering Heights. That was literally Wuthering Heights. It
That's
was like
Wuthering
3
Heights.
different versions of that. Yeah.
What is Withering? Okay, I've never heard of this. What is this?
Oh, you gotta read that one.
You've never heard of Wuthering Heights?
No. How
It
do I
was-
end up copying things I don't know about?
It wasn't you. It was Andros for sure that's doing it. But it's Emily Bronte's only book, and you should have read it in high school. Blah 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 blah.
Apparently it was not on our list. I read a bunch of other things in high school.
Mhm.
But it surprised me that was. Alright,
The whole book is like that.
Yeah.
so noted. Don't read that.
Yep.
If you
It's
ever
just
get the
that
urge to
session
read,
was enough to.
if you ever get the urge to read Wuthering Heights, just listen to this session 8 times. Then you've got it.
Yeah.
Why would they
With
make
a
you read that?
English accent. Put on some background dreary like gray skied moor in England. Yeah, it's
Some
like this.
like gray, rainy weather pattern
Yep.
on window, old
Yep.
glass panes. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
A very
Perfect.
creaky house with a roaring fire, you know. Typical old English.
Oh boy. I think the only thing technically officially left on the list is me to tell Thamor that I don't think at this time you're going to find anyone, even in Telmavir, who is willing to / able to give you a stat increase item. So that seems a
very
little bit out
sad.
of the range
Aw.
of upgrades I've already given you in other parties to give you yet another high tier item. maybe in the upcoming sessions we'll get it, but not in this overturn. That is sorry. I've already given you a new halberd and an initiative
not
one.
Gek.
Did I
Maybe Thaymor finally talked to his god, gives him his power sometimes.
Maybe. Possibly. I mean, it might be one of the side effects of one of your random spells is a increase in strength or something, so we'll see. Who knows what chaos may ensue when I give Thaymor more chaos, so...
I mean, as long as I still get some beans, I'm good.
Yeah, eventually you'll be able to probably make beans, but not quite yet.
No, I don't want to make beans. I just want a bag of beans.
A bag of unending beans?
You know,
you
if you
say?
can make beans, you can make a bag of beans. That's
Yeah,
part of
that's
the
gonna be
process.
far into the distance. I'm talking about.
So Thaymor's the short term. Okay. Teach a man to fish. Thaymor doesn't want to be taught to fish. Thaymor wants the fish. Why do you think Thaymor fishes? He wants the fish, not to learn how to fish.
I think they were never using the fishing pole. He doesn't know how to fish. He just wants to
uses a
fish.
halberd. The fishing pool is just for looks. He's got it, but then when no one's looking, he just chucks a halberd at full speed into the water.
He just has a shallow halberd. The fish just levitates out of the water with him now.
He just commands the fish to appear.
Okay. There's a cat on the Get Trade party.
Okay. So. Yeesh. Alright, so now that we're pretty much, for the most part, wrapping up. Again, the other thing you'll learn, Thaymor, is if you can, again, the same kind of info you'll get that Morani got of investigating the cult in Tales of Mir, you'll get from Pele about expunging them, where their whereabouts kind of have been going, and stuff like that. So that's kind of the last bit tidbit. You'll get the same kind of info from Pele about it. As far as hopefully moving towards going back to real times, I think we're finally done with the
I do
heavily
have
quoted
one
time
question.
skip.
Like,
Sure.
did Barnacle ever come back?
Yes, because that's what I was going to follow up with.
Ooh, okay.
Because that's what I want to follow up with, because unfortunately my original plans have been slightly waylaid with just change of roster of players, change of interactions that happen, so my original way to regroup the characters is a little bit thrown astray, because we're missing one of the characters that was part of it. However, I got another idea. So, the kind of his question as far as, after everything that happened in the White Order, Andros, are you sailing back to Galaran after?
Honestly, at this point, he'd probably take whatever contract he could from Evenstrand and sail away.
Okay.
If it's going to Tales of Mir, if it's going back to Galaran,
Sounds like you decide where he goes, Salty.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
Well, because
going back
my thought
and wherever
to just,
that takes him.
Yeah,
And-
my thought
and,
to slightly railroad the effects here
Please.
of,
No worries.
I mean, because unfortunately without that, I don't know where everyone's going to end up. Because I think we can open up, or at least after this point, a good introduction as far as why everyone's back in Galaran is each of you are going to receive a summons from Mother Levia to kind of officially, like,
Recognize
pass
the
power.
Gek threat.
Like, yeah, recognize the Gek threat.
The
More so-
kobolds are massing
Well-
in the north of Solmir.
More
We
so,
must summon all able warriors to
Right.
mount a counteroffensive.
The draft
more
has been
so as
instituted.
a anniversary of the defeat of Faust. She wants to hold a
Oh.
ceremony with all the heroes present that can
Oh.
attend. So calling
watch
kind
out.
of everyone back as the anniversary of Faust's defeat, the rebuilding of Galaran, bringing you guys forward again as the heroes to kind of solidify everything and like show to the world, like, after a year of rebuilding, Galaran is back, right? So that will be kind of the summons to bring people back. I hope that would kind of be a decent motivator to bring people back to Galaran. And while in Galaran, hopefully during that event, you receive some slightly disturbing news from Barnacle, who is delayed in getting back, as well as the crystal that Andros has finally starts going off with an urgent summons to Jerarag. The disturbing news being is that your father is well for now, but the village is not well. They were recently sieged by some unknown assailants that took a lot of members of the village hostage. And
Oh,
have
no.
long since
my
absconded
God.
with them. The best that Barnacle can figure out from your father, who managed to hide in all this, is that one of the guilds may be responsible for this.
Oh boy.
Wait, no,
Um,
I literally did not. He cut out as soon as he was about to say the juicy part. Say that again.
Wait, which part?
I literally did not hear anything. Like,
The village was under siege.
The village was
heard
under
that part.
siege, several
Yes.
members were captured and taken away, and your father, who managed to kind of hide during all this in his shop, the best he could figure out was that it was likely one of the work of the guilds. But he can't be for certain which one. But all of them were taken away as basically hostages or slaves from the village. And Barnacle basically arrived at a smoking ruin of what the village once was, with them trying to rebuild.
Oh, those sons of bitches. What about the rest of her family?
The rest of your family is fine.
Oh,
Your
thank
father
God.
was crafty enough to hide them in his shop in various locations, but the rest of the village isn't faring well,
Hmm.
and he's worried they might come back.
Okay, well, that's both better and worse than I anticipated, but okay, cool.
Yep, as well as, again, the gem that you have, Andros, is going off with a urgent summons around the same time from Ren. So,
Okay. Does it have any message to it, or is it just, hey, hey, hey,
I mean, it has the...
hey, listen?
Hey, listen, get your ass back here, bitch. No, no, it would be, I'm sorry it's so soon to contact you, but I need your presence here sooner than I thought. There are things going on that the guilds can't control, and you're the only one I think I can trust in this.
Does Hildy know this person?
Ren?
Contact
Yes.
you
Yeah.
about your car's extended.
You do know Ren because he's one of the guild leaders.
Your
Oh,
boat-
that's
your boat's
right.
extended,
Sorry,
right?
brain fart. Okay.
Yes. Maybe I don't know if you've ever met with him personally to an extent, but you know who he is.
Frickin' car warranties.
Yeah,
But-
no, that's probably not one that I would have had any personal dealings with, at least not to any noticeable degree of depth. But okay.
I think, however, so that I can actually start building this portion forward, since I didn't know exactly where things would be left off, I kind of want to start from there, potentially, like, next time around once I get things built up. But
Sure.
basically, with you guys all back in the company of heroes, for those that are around, with this dire news, basically, and, asking for those that want to join to go to Jerrag, and how to best go about it. So,
Yeah, so I'm good
a
with
little
that.
bit of a shorter session unless you
Yeah.
guys want some questions and such, but I feel like I kind of want some time to solidify now that we've got that plan going, because I didn't
Yeah,
know
no, that's
exactly
fine.
where we would reconvene the group, as well as what might have occurred with everyone else. But that is, start hopefully next session, the official launch into a next season
Arc
question
2.
or arc of
Mhm.
Almir. Trouble in Jerrag, I guess.
Campaign 2.
I love how we leave and then we immediately have to turn around and go back again.
Like you
Well, I
do.
expect it's well, because we end up probably leaving Evenstrand probably around Kythorn, because it was Merkel when Zidane left, and it'd probably be a good 10 days or so to get back to Evenstrand.
It doesn't
And
necessarily
then-
have to be immediate either. It'd still be like a month or two after you return, had that anniversary, but you would be all in the city around that time, is my
Okay.
idea. And then, however we want to structure out, as far as like whether it's a month after that or shortly thereafter, that summons goes out. So it's not like immediately turn around, but the reason you're all back is that it's the anniversary of basically Galaran's success over Faust, the rebuilding of Galaran, kind of re-cheering on the heroes, giving basically you guys become a holiday in Galaran. So
Neat.
So she expects those that can to attend because, I mean, A, it's better for it. She honestly thinks it's a great deal for you guys, as well as it enhances the city's reputation and vision and like general unity to have the heroes there.
Yeah, and 3 of them are just AWOL, so that'll be great.
Yeah, well,
Also, yeah. Who do I have to show? Do I have to show up? I don't.
I imagine you don't have to show up publicly, but like, I figure this would be a reason for you to reconvene or at least get in touch with everyone. Again,
Oh.
slight railroad of like, okay, there's no real reason for everyone to get back immediately, but
Yeah.
some.
No,
we will
the
just set
Faceless
up
can recall me.
I was going to say that might be the other reason. Just the Faceless finally recall you to be part of the celebration as like guard detail, even.
Mm-hmm.
we
So.
lure Seabreeze back with a fish trap on a window.
You just open a window and start spilling some juicy secret, and just there it is. Seabreeze is there.
It's not. It's probably something I should say in private, but I wouldn't put it past the Faceless to see the most of the old gang getting back together and recalling her and be like, yeah, you need to tell us what's going to happen with that group. So,
These idiots are going to break the
congratulations.
world again.
Yeah, congratulations. You're drafted back into that little group.
Well, to be fair, there is a legit reason now for it, because you introduced Thamor to Echo, and Echo is very interested in Thamor. Because he
That's
does share a
true.
memory of something that no one else does, so he actually fits in what he's looking for.
Many
So
reasons.
he is very interested in that group now, mostly for Thamor.
Okay.
So
We are
he does have reason to keep tabs on this particular party.
Mhm.
So that would not be too far-fetched to say that he would assign you basically to that party after having you, sent to Tales of Mir to train you up and basically improve your skills, because perhaps even Echo sees something in you that's a key to fixing, like, building the future he wants. So, yeah.
I rolled an 18 for trauma, so we're got a ways to work through that one.
I think you got to roll with advantage on that one.
Oh, if I roll
I
with
feel like
advantage,
you would
it
have
was
to
a
roll it.
4.
Oh, well.
I don't know which is good or bad.
I don't know either. Trauma is not normally a good thing.
Wow, that's not true.
It brings us together as friends.
Ouch, poor choice of words.
Makes you truly appreciate the actual brief moments of levity. Just nothing but saturated trauma. I know this lesson well.
Ibarra's counseling services will be open from 9 to 10 on Mondays through Fridays.
All are welcome. Some may leave with bruises.
Bring your own beer. If you prefer Dwarven Holy Ale, it'll be sold at the counter.
That reminds me, if we're gonna have Almir 2 weeks from now, I won't be able to make it. My boss has his 60th birthday. He invited me and a few other people.
Skip it. You must be here.
No, show up, tell them that you're not able to attend, and then leave.
I must go.